Don in London, hello. It's July 28th. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My addictive substance, alcohol, my behaviour equally addictive around people, places and things. So a double whammy, if you like. Addicted to substance, addicted to behaviour. Yeah, alcohol, in the right place, with the right people, doing the right things and wanting the right things, I guess. So less wanting these days and just covering my needs. My needs are, first and foremost, to be sober, so the rest of life can happen. And with the benefit of sobriety, that is, without fixing my head, my feelings or my outlook, then I can start the day fresh with a new attitude and decide what to do with freedom of choice. So no more fixing, I hope. I do hope that. No more fixing. So how did I get into sobriety? Well, family, friends, community, you name it, medical people kept me alive long enough to get to the miraculous place that I realised I could not get sober on my own. And I needed help from a lot of people. What I've learned over the years is if we try and lean on one person in recovery, we're more likely to push them over and pull them down, rather than them being able to build us up. Addiction is so strong a compulsion that no one person seems, in my view and in my experience, to be able to support us. I tried that. It was unhelpful to them and it made me angry and resentful because I just couldn't fix me and they couldn't fix me either. So these days I've learned, with the help of a fellowship, how to be sober today and just for today. And that fellowship is Alcoholics Anonymous. AA works if we are able to get there, to listen and see what can happen. What you see is what you get with the fellowship of AA. You see real people, real problems, real solutions. And it's the many voices, the many people in AA who keep themselves sober with the mutual support that meetings and groups of the fellowship offer. So if you want to go to a psychiatrist, counsellor, doctor, they will be able to advise you on what you need to do or must do in order to keep alive. But they're not available all the time, and they can't be, and they are costly as a resource. So when fellowship turned out to be free at the point of entry, that is, it's free if you haven't got any money, and only nominally do we pay anything for renting rooms and tea and coffee and a bit of literature. That's how it works. But I can go on and on. I don't represent AA, never can, never will, simply because people are unique and authentic, right now, where they are, in real life terms, and everybody has experience to share. So this is what AA is. Now, take it off this little card, and then I'll share some words from the fellowship, the daily reflection, if you like, and some of my reflections over the years, including today. So what is AA? This is what it says about itself, or ourselves, depending on where you are. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement is a desire for membership, is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. It does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And that's what it is, in a nutshell. But it's a bit more complicated than that, because inside that little card are 12 steps on one side, there, and 12 traditions on the other, there. So the 12 steps keep a person sober if we follow them, and even then it can be very difficult. 12 steps to be open, honest and willing to change our attitude and behaviour on a daily basis. And the 12 traditions are about unity, service and recovery. Unity within the fellowship, service in the fellowship, and recovery, which makes it possible to do the 12 steps. So no single human being, it seems, from my experience, and I'm the single human being in this case, I couldn't do it on my own. And I learned it was the many voices in the fellowship. So what about AA then? I've been busy this morning, I've been doing quite a lot. Hopefully I'm going to see my sister a bit later on, and she is the person who saved my life, because she is the person who said go to those meetings and see what you can do. I was a very reluctant learner, and it took a bit of time. She was right. She's always right. Anyway, I'm going to see her later. So for today, what does AA say in the daily reflections? Well, it's all about step 7, July, nearly coming to the end, and step 7, those who still suffer, for July 28th. Let us resist the proud assumption that since God has enabled us to do well in one area, we are destined to be a channel of saving grace for everybody, and that's from AA Comes of Age. Or roughly translated, just because we got sober doesn't mean we're going to be any good at anything else or helping someone else until we learn how to. AA groups exist to help alcoholics achieve sobriety, large or small, firmly established or brand new, speaker, discussion or study group, has but one reason for being: to carry the message to the still suffering alcoholic. And we can get right up our backsides with this, because if we forget that's what we're there to do, the newcomer can sit on the sidelines in the meeting and think, what on earth are these people on about, and why don't I feel right about this? The group exists so that the alcoholic can find a new way of life, a life abundant in happiness, joy and freedom of choice based on real life. To recover, most alcoholics need the support of a group or other alcoholics who share their experience, strength and hope. Thus, my sobriety and our program Survival depends on my determination to put first things first. And first things first is about the newcomer and sharing a message, because as we learn, so we pass it on. And, you know, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. I'm glad to say mine's been slow progress over the years. Slow progress in learning how to live life again, or just keep on living. So my reflection this morning is no better than the AA one, but it's got less about God in it. Not because I don't believe in God, but the God of my understanding enables through others, through other people. I get the wisdom to learn and the wisdom of life through other people, so I can develop my own wisdom. Meetings are all about sobriety. We share and we learn from each other. Attraction is what we see is what we get, and find out what will work. And we are so diverse and rich in experience, from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all faiths, all colours, you name it, we're in it. There to share about living sober. And I often get a lot of experience, strength and hope from bus drivers about how to drive a bus, and how, for me as a cyclist, to avoid them. So it comes in many forms. You know, wisdom comes as it may. So it's about what we see is what we get. That's attraction to what we have. That's sobriety, and not promoting it. So I'm not promoting here, I'm just sharing how it is. Promotion suggests a fix, a guarantee, and there are no guarantees in life. Sober today, yes, contingent on our spiritual condition. And for me, the contingent on the spiritual condition is simply the ability to live in reality. Reality right now is where spiritual is happening. Everything is spiritual, and it's how we cope with it. So, you know, the wisdom of living, really, doesn't mean we're better than anybody else. We just find what works for us. And without the diversity, and without the greater number who look and know how to be sober, what on earth would I have done? Well, I would have perished. Another year, those who still suffer. Intolerance and hate formed from a superior outlook or an inferior outlook. So intolerance and hate by judging others who we feel are less than or more than. Judging the world as we are judged. So if we judge the world, we're not really getting on with our bit, which is sober and working to good conscience, a work in progress. Valuing diversity, every life, to love and be loved, to be useful. every life, indeed. In recovery and sobriety, more able and making progress, we can support and challenge and make good in our actions today. So we learn how to challenge and support, and not to judge. Challenging is asking, is it going to work? Or how do you see it working? Doesn't mean I have the answer. It's just, have you got the real answer for you? And I get not judged, I get challenged in that way too, which is just right, because I can get very snooty and think I know it all very quickly if I'm challenged. And that's when I have to break down my brave facing and ego and get on with a bit of courage, faith and confidence to listen. And another year, step 7, all about faith, courage and confidence and truth just for today. Always in the now, our fear, a desire to cover up and put on a brave face. Ego to hide guilt, shame and resentments will challenge our spiritual progress. So the more open we are, the better spiritual progress we will make, rather than shutting down and thinking we've got the idea and now we're going to promote it. Spiritual being the truth as it is, not self-belief or opinion. So simple yet so complicated, it is always for today. And by that, it's not, truth of now is not my belief or opinion about the truth. It's actually finding out what the truth is. So I need input from others, because if I try and do it on my own, I get stuck. And if I get stuck, what will I do? I'll make it up, try and speculate. And it can set my expectations too high, all about life being right or wrong. And that's how it is just for today. It's a bit of a shorter video than usual, that's just me, or it looks like it is a shorter video. What matters to me? If I'm sober, I can find a way to find the truth of what's going on. But if I can't find the truth from other people because they feel they can't share it, then I can do nothing about it. I am powerless over people, places and things. In the truest sense, I cannot change others, but I can change my own attitude and behaviour. And find compassion too. Compassion for everyone being human. Even when people are doing their worst, it might be the best they can do in this one moment. And it can hurt us, because we can be locked out and unhelpful, or seen as unhelpful. But we are unhelpful if another person has had to say, go away and mind your own business. That's the way it is, and we all have those elements in our lives, so we need to let go of them. Let go what we cannot help or change. We might influence it in some way, but I doubt it. So all I can do is keep my side of the street clean, which is what the 12 steps are there to do, mind my own business and go on my way. And we get learning lessons about that all the time. Mind our own business and move along, letting go the desire to shape the world as we think it ought to be. We are part of it, not in control of it. I reckon we'd all get along better if we understood that, but life is pretty difficult, and we have a set of beliefs and opinion systems around which put a lot of people down and exclude a lot of people. Not a good idea, as we've seen in the press and the media this year with Norway. Anyway, enough of that. It's time I signed off. So in any moment when things are right or wrong, whether I'm trying to work out what I can do and I can't do, that's serenity prayer. A prayer or meditation, as you choose to understand. What you believe in is what you believe in. It's not me to judge it nor influence it in any way. So if you believe in God, all good. If you don't believe in God, be it agnostic or atheist, all good too, because it's what works for you. And spiritual is living in the moment and dealing with it, coping with it and understanding it. And that serenity prayer works regardless, as long as we remind ourselves we are not the higher power and we're not in charge of other people in the truest sense. So, to God or in good conscience, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, other people, places and things. Courage to change the things I can, my attitude and behaviour, and my outcomes. Freedom. And the wisdom to know the difference, which is being learnt today, in the moment, and just as it may be.